Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, Episode 9 of Formula 1 Underrated, and have I got a good one for you today. I've spoken about the man-beast that is Derek Warwick before, but let's take a closer look at his time in Formula 1 and analyse why he was so underrated. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel. I'm releasing motorsport content every week. Like and comment on this video, and I now have a Twitter account you can follow. With that said, let's begin.
Warwick had what looked like an absolutely dreadful accident. But happily, after resting, Derek declared that he was okay to race, and he's doing just that.
I feel okay. I've got a bit of a stiff neck, obviously, because going into the gravel upside down sort of compacted my head into the car.
Derek Warwick started his Formula 1 journey in British Superstocks. In fact, he's the only Superstocks champion to make it into Formula 1. Kind of an impressive way to start your journey. He won the English Championship at the age of 16 and World Championship at the age of 18. He was also a Formula Ford European champion, and in 1978 he won the Vandervelde British Formula 3 Championship, beating future Formula 1 world champion Nelson Piquet. He was racing for a team called Warwick Trailers. How the hell did he beat Piquet? In 1979 he had a couple of races in the British Formula 1 Championship, racing for Theodore Racing, and finished second at Mallory Park. He also raced in the European Formula 2, struggling in 1979 before finishing the championship second in 1980. Sadly, Austrian driver Markus Hottinger was killed by a loose wheel from Derek Warwick's car, which was not Derek's fault, but a sad moment worth mentioning.
It's going to be more than verbal. Let's have a look at it again. And that's what it was. Patrese dived down the inside of Warwick. Wheels locked on. Derek Warwick will not be a very happy boy indeed, and I would like to see the action. Well, there's Warwick standing to discuss the issue with Patrese. Frustration, anger, and, well, what's going to be said? Is it going to be, you silly...
Derek Warwick's Formula 1 career got off to a very poor start with the Tolman team. Using Hart engines, it was basically like driving a heavy wheelie bin. And so in 1981, Derek Warwick failed to qualify for every race except the final race, where his gearbox failed on lap 43. That must have been a kick where it hurts for most of the team and Derek. 1982 was not much better, but Derek Warwick managed fastest lap in the Dutch Grand Prix before breaking down. He even finished two races, 15th in France and 10th in Britain. The budget was increased for 1983 with a slew of new sponsors, but apart from a 7th in Belgium and an 8th in Brazil, results were not improving. Until the last four races of the season, when Derek took his and Tolman's first points, with a 4th place finish, followed by a 6th, 5th and 4th in the last three races, ending the year with 9 points. The results were so impressive, Derek Warwick was picked up by the Works Renault team for 1984.
Grip as well, so it tends to slide a lot more when it's right in the turbulence, the air turbulence in the car in front.
A quick flash to tell you that Nigel Mansell, who was in 17th place with his injured hand, has gone into the pits. As you see, the second, third, fourth still practically together, but especially the second and third. And Warwick is now coming right up to Didier Pironi. He's in a position to take him. Look at this, he's going to drive straight past. And he does so. Derek Warwick is up into second place with a masterly passing manoeuvre straight past the Ferrari. Now,
what probably looked a great opportunity for Derek Warwick may not have really turned out that way. The year previously, Renault had finished second in the Constructors, with Alain Prost and Eddie Cheever driving. However, Cheever fled and Prost was sacked for moaning about the lack of progress Renault were making. And so, with Derek Warwick and Patrick Tambay behind the wheel, the Renault was a massive disappointment. Derek Warwick would manage to finish 6 races in 1984, but when he did finish, he was impressive with 4 podiums and a 7th in the final standings, with double the points of teammate Patrick Tambay. Renault's downward spiral continued into 1985, which would be their final year in Formula 1 until 2002. With the company suffering financially, they couldn't justify spending money on a motorsport program, and Formula One in the 80s was very expensive. The car was still unreliable, but now it was also slow in relation to its competitors, particularly galling for Warwick as he had turned down a Williams drive to stay at Renault. Williams instead hired Nigel Mansell, who won 2 races that year. So good choice there, Derek. Would you choose leprosy over golden diamonds too? 8 retirements and only 3 points finishes, leading to 5 points, and Renault flee F1 with their tails between their legs, leaving Derek Warwick without a race seat for 1986. Derek almost joined Lotus for 1986, but Ayrton Senna blocked the move, saying he didn't think Lotus could manage 2 title contenders and he wanted a pure number 2 driver. If Ayrton Senna is worried you can beat him for the title, it means you probably could. So without a drive in Formula 1, Derek joined Tom Walkinshaw racing a silk-cut Jaguar in the 1986 World Sports Car Championship, taking a win at Silverstone with Eddie Cheever but retiring at Le Mans. However, he'd get a call from Brabham owner Bernie Ecclestone after the death of Elio De Angelis. Allegedly, he was given the drive as he was the only top driver who didn't contact Bernie within 5 minutes of Elio's death, and because it didn't conflict with his sports car season, he could compete in both. However, he would score no points for Brabham, 6 retirements and a best 7th in Germany. He would join Jaguar teammate Cheever at Arrows in 1987. With powerful rebadged BMW engines, he would score 3 points. 1988 was much better as the Arrows improved. Derek would score 4 4th places, a couple of 5ths and a 6th, and a total of 17 points and once again 7th in the final standings. 1989 was a disappointing year for Derek. He finished 5th in Brazil, 17 seconds behind Mansell, but a disastrous pit stop cost him more time than that, and he could have won the race. Amazingly, in the wet of Canada, he was running 2nd behind Senna, and way ahead of the pack behind when his engine failed 20 laps from the end. Senna's engine would also fail 3 laps from the finish, so another lost opportunity for Derek Warwick in a heartbreaking year for him and Arrows, as he ended it with just 7 points.
もう一社 F1 に関心を示すアメリカの会社は USF&G アローズをスポンサードする保険会社だ。そのワーウィックがスピン。
In 1990, Derek Warwick had finally got his chance with Lotus. Unfortunately, Lotus had turned into a bunch of old drunks, more likely to die of liver failure than score points in Formula 1. The Lamborghini engine was unreliable, Derek retiring from 9 races and only scoring 3 points. The most memorable moment of the season, you ask? Rolling the Lotus at Monza and walking away like a badass.
I'm almost unbelievable. Oh my God! That is a Lola. That's all I can tell. No, it's Derek Warwick. It's Derek Warwick who's crashed at the Parabolica, and as you can see, my goodness, he's okay. That is an incredible testimony to the strength and safety of the construction of the cars these days, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the race will have to be stopped because the car is on the...
Derek Warwick did not get a drive in Formula 1 for 1991, instead going back to sports cars with Jaguar and finishing 4th at Le Mans, before heading to Peugeot for 1992 with Yannick Dalmas and Marc Blundell, winning Le Mans by 6 laps ahead of Toyota. For 1993, Warwick would return to Formula 1 with the Footwork team, previously Arrows, whom Derek had spent 3 years with. Results were generally poor, except for a 6th in Germany and a 4th in Hungary, ending his last season in Formula 1 with 4 points.
Next season, Warwick, who's 38, has agreed to join the Milton Keynes-based footwork team. He replaces another veteran, Michele Alboreto.
Well, you know, obviously great news for me. It's fantastic. It's a great opportunity to come back with a team I know so well, even though now it's obviously footwork. But, you know, it's one of the top 10 teams. You know, they're well financed. They have good facilities up in Milton Keynes, and footwork is a good sponsor. I've been lucky. You know, I've had a good year. I won a lot of races, won Le Mans. Now I'm world champion. It seems that I'm having a bit of luck instead of bad luck.
He would race for Alfa Romeo in the British touring cars in 1995, but the team couldn't match their success of 1994, and Derek would finish 19th in the final standings, and spend a whole year watching Giampiero Simone as his teammate, which is a punishment worse than death. A final attempt at Le Mans saw Derek finishing 3rd in class in 1996, driving a Courage with legends Mario Andretti and Jan Lammers, before returning to British touring cars with a Vauxhall for 1997 and 1998, taking a single win at Knock Hill. He also finished 6th in the Bathurst 1000 with Peter Brock. He'd retire at the end of 1998, but keep working with the Vauxhall team for a further 3 years. He is now a driver steward, occasionally appearing at Grand Prix handing out penalties. He also writes an F1 blog and has a Honda dealership in Jersey. He has also survived bowel cancer. He is just an absolute hero.
These two out of the old hairpin. We're with him now, climbing up towards McLean's, doing about 125 miles an hour, down into the right-hander, and he's lost it! Into the gravel trap, into the tar wall, he's broken our camera lens. That'll be £6 please, Derek.
Some people say that Derek Warwick is the best Formula 1 driver to never win a Grand Prix. And he had chances to, but after 10 years of Formula 1, he'd have 4 podiums and 71 points. Doesn't seem like a lot, but his own career decisions hurt him, normally ending up at teams who had very unreliable cars. A win at Le Mans is all he really has to show for his amazing talent, but he is one of my favourite racing drivers because of his personality. He's tough, he's funny, he's endearing, and he is certainly underrated.
To Sear, yes, he's through. Oh, and Warwick is hit and off.
Oh, that was big contact. That was Paul Radisich on the inside, Derek Warwick on the outside, turning onto the back straight. Collision almost went over.
Dive down the inside of you when they're not really through. You know, if you did the same in a Grand Prix car, you turn over. And Radisich just dived down the inside. Yes, I was being held up, but you could see the situation. I was diving down the inside of Harvey, and he dived down the inside of me. You know, I mean, you can't race in them situations. He's got to be patient, and he was quicker than me probably, but I was being held up by the people around me.
Absolutely, Derek. I should pop outside into the pit lane and see what's happening. Oh, there's your friend John Cleland. He's coming in to retire as well. Or is he?
Thank you for watching. 9 episodes of Formula 1 Underrated. It is quite a playlist. The one thing I haven't mentioned in this video is the death of Derek's brother. In a British F3 race in 1991, Paul Warwick lost his life, but I thought that deserved its own video. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the channel, like and comment, and stay around for more motorsport content. Nearly 50 videos now, so please watch another and have a good one.